Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today we are going to have a very fun video and we are going to talk about 5 different players that have been linked to FC Barcelona. Not all of these players have been reported by reliable journalists, but these are 5 players that we could potentially see at FC Barcelona. Some have stronger reasons on why they could come to FC Barcelona and some have very weak reasons on why they could come to FC Barcelona. But it's going to be a very fun video. And so we are going to talk about 5 different players and we are going to talk about Lato Martinez, Timo Werner, Jadon Sancho, Neymar Jr., and Kevin De Bruyne. And we are first going to talk about Lato Martinez and why he could be linked to FC Barcelona. And so when we talk about this player, this should be a no-brainer. Everything started when he did have a very strong Copa America display and then followed up with Martinez's agent named Yake. And he said this: "Talk of Barcelona's interest is true. No one's called us, but we know that they have been looking at him strongly. It's true that Barcelona like him." And then followed up with Martinez's goal against Barcelona with Lenglet right behind him trying to knock him down, and Martinez did not waver. He was very composed, he was very strong, and you cannot just take him down like that. And that is why Martinez scored that goal and he showed his quality in front of FC Barcelona and the whole stage. And throughout the match, Umtiti nor Lenglet could put him down. This is something that Barcelona really liked from Lato Martinez, and in that moment it showed to Barcelona on what this player could become. And then there has been reports that Barcelona is willing to give him a 5-year contract, giving him 10 million a year. Then we have another report coming from Mundo Deportivo claiming that he is closer than ever to go to FC Barcelona and that there have been negotiations on giving a player away plus cash for Lato Martinez. Followed up with another report claiming that he is already convinced with the sporting project that has been showed to Lato Martinez. And then we have Diego Milito, who had an interview with Movistar yesterday, and he said this: Diego Milito, sports director of Racing, said that Lautaro has great conditions to be at Barcelona. He is a very complete player who is doing great in Inter. The truth is, I don't know what will happen. I hear that there are many rumors. And then followed up with former Juventus forward Nicola Amoruso, and he said this: Lautaro has already decided to go to Barcelona. Now moving on to Timo Werner on why he could be linked to FC Barcelona. And so the first evidence is that Abidal and Ramon's Plains did attend the game between Tottenham and Leipzig, and they went to scout 3 players, which was Upamecano, Angelino, and Timo Werner, and they were very impressed by Timo Werner. Then we have a report coming from Mundo Deportivo claiming that Barcelona director of football Eric Abidal and his assistant Ramon Plains had a positive meeting with Werner's father. And then after that, we haven't heard anything coming between Werner and FC Barcelona. There was a quiet period, but then the ball really dropped when Alfredo Martinez, who is a very reliable reporter, said that Barcelona see Timo Werner as the second option if the Lato Martinez operation fails, and that this German player is very popular in the Barcelona board. Then we had Christian Falk, who was another reliable journalist, claiming that Timo Werner does not want to go to Bayern Munich. And so what we can see here is that Timo Werner is trimming down the clubs that he wants to go to, and this is only telling us one thing, and that is Timo Werner is very open to the public on his options and where he wants to go. And at the moment, he has not ruled out the possibility of going to FC Barcelona. Now moving on to Jadon Sancho on why he could be linked. This all started with a potential loan move of Ansu Fati going to Borussia Dortmund. And when we are talking about Borussia Dortmund, Dortmund know that Sancho is looking for an exit. There has been reports that Sancho could move to Manchester United, but when we are talking about Manchester United, right, when we are hearing that Sancho does want to go to that club, we have to take note that Manchester United cannot bring Sancho the UCL competition every season. It is not guaranteed, and Sancho has to take note of that. And with a player with that much talent letting the world know that he might be available in the summer, clubs will come knocking to Borussia Dortmund. And if Barcelona do get in contact with Borussia Dortmund, which is mainly going to be because of Ansu Fati going to Borussia Dortmund, we could expect a negotiation or a ask on what Sancho's interest is like where does he want to go, who does he want to play with. And so we never know. There is a connection there. And we also had a report coming from Sport claiming that Sancho could be Neymar's replacement. Now moving on to the next player, which is Neymar Jr. And again, just like Lato Martinez, this is a no-brainer. He has been linked with FC Barcelona over the past 2 years. In 2019, we saw throughout the whole summer that Neymar was trying to force the move, Barcelona and PSG were negotiating. There was negotiations going on saying that Barcelona were willing to give out Dembele and Rakitic for Neymar. They were willing to give up Coutinho and Nelson Semedo for Neymar Jr., but it never happened. And all of this happened to the public. Nothing was hidden. And Neymar even had an interview where he claimed to the media that his favorite moment in football was that 6-1 win against PSG. And that made the PSG fans very angry. In the beginning of the season, when Neymar Jr. was playing for PSG, many fans were booing him. Then we had Messi, who claimed in the middle of the season, he had an interview and they asked him about the Neymar Jr. operation, and he said Barcelona did not try hard enough to get Neymar Jr. And this summer coming up in 2020 will be the second attempt. And if Barcelona and PSG find no agreement, they will take this to FIFA. Now moving on to Kevin De Bruyne. So this rumor is coming up because Man City might get banned from the UCL for the next 2 seasons because of financial violations. And so City are appealing, and we have yet to find out what's going to happen to City in the European competitions. And they have yet to decide if City will win this case. And De Bruyne said here in an interview, he said that once the decision is made, I will review everything. 2 years would be long, but in the case of 1 year, I might see. So basically what De Bruyne is saying is, if Man City does not get UCL football for the next 2 seasons, I will leave to a different club. And then we had a report coming from Fernand Polo, who is a very reliable journalist in Mundo Deportivo. He said that De Bruyne really likes Barcelona, but right now his signing is impossible. So now I want to move on to the section on what can these players provide for FC Barcelona. And if we start with Lato Martinez, we should expect the power going forward, the aerial threat. He is heavily involved in build-up play. His pressing is one of his greatest strengths on the game, and his physicality is one of the best in the world of football. And then moving on to Timo Werner, he is the player that can provide the width. He is a winger. He loves going into 1v1 situations. He has the pace. He likes playing behind the striker. He loves scoring goals. He loves to attack the space when counter-attacking. And then moving on to Jadon Sancho, who is a very similar player compared to Timo Werner, but much more creative. He loves going on 1v1 situations. He has the versatility, and I think that is one of his greatest strengths, and that is something that Barcelona will highly value, because if we see this stat right here, we can see that as a left winger, he has scored 32 goals and provided 24 assists, and as a right winger, he scored 20 goals and provided 27 assists. Altogether, as a left winger, he was involved in 56 goals, and as a right winger, he was involved in 46 goals. So he has no weak areas. Then moving on to Neymar Jr., and this is a player where it's already a proven player. We know what he's going to be like when if he does come to FC Barcelona. He's going to bring the goals, he's going to bring the assists, he has the pace, he has the width, and if anything, he has what it takes to take the mantle away from Lionel Messi. And then moving on to Kevin De Bruyne, and so I'm telling you guys this right now, if Kevin De Bruyne were to go to FC Barcelona, I think that he will have the exact same effect as Neymar Jr. Not the same playing style, but the same effect. Kevin De Bruyne will be so effective to FC Barcelona that he will provide the assist. He will provide the creativity. He has everything you ever wanted in a midfielder. And if we look at the stats right here on Kevin De Bruyne, we can see that he is a monster as a midfielder. His key passes are very high, his through balls are very high, his pressure regains are very high, and his expected assists are very, very high. And so this is everything that you ever wanted in a midfielder. He's very physical, something that we really lacked in the Barcelona midfield. And again, Kevin De Bruyne will be more than welcome to come to FC Barcelona. Then moving on to the next key point, which is, who do Barcelona need the most? Like, where can they say this is the player that's going to cover most of our problems? And in my honest opinion, I think that's going to be Kevin De Bruyne, because I think that he will strengthen our defense. He is that guy that's very physical. He is very creative. We do not really need to rely on the defense because Kevin De Bruyne does have very heavy defense contributions. And most importantly, he has the crossing, which is what we have been missing from Dani Alves, which he provided from 2008 through 2015. And for him to bring those crosses back into the box is going to really, really help us. And many of you guys might say that, no, we need wingers more than we need anything else, right? But if you actually think about it, we already have the right wing covered and the left wing covered, because Ansu Fati can't play that left wing, Dembele can play right wing and left wing, Trincao can play right wing, and Braithwaite can either play left wing or right wing. And bringing Kevin De Bruyne will seal the deal in that midfield. And then the next key point is, what can Barcelona afford? Because as amazing as this this all seems, Barcelona cannot afford some of these players. Especially with this pandemic, it has really changed on how Barcelona is going to approach this summer. Because at the end of the day, out of these 5 players that I have brought up, only one is going to be transferred. And if we look at the projected budget, we can see that Jordi Cardona said that they will lose a total of 120 to 140 million in revenue, and that swap deals in the summer is going to be a common practice. Bartomeu even said that we should expect a lot of trade deals to happen this summer. And so knowing that, and knowing that we also have to take into account that even with Lato Martinez costing us 110 million, which is probably one of the cheapest options out of the 5, we still need to give a player plus cash for Lato Martinez, which basically gives you a good imagery of what Barcelona can afford. And so the final conclusion for FC Barcelona, they cannot afford any of these 5 players and buy them in cash, which means that only swap deals can happen. And so when we are talking about swap deals, if we look at the fee for each of these players, we can see that Martinez cost 111 million, Neymar cost 164 million, Sancho cost 100 million, Timo Werner cost 60 million, which will soon be 120 million. And then if we see De Bruyne, he cost 145 million. So we can swap with all of these players. And we also have to take into account that some of these players have huge wage bills. And so there are other factors, and that's going to lead me to the last key point of this video, which is who is most likely to arrive to FC Barcelona. And we are going to include the wage bill, the transfer fee, the reliability of the transfer news of these players, who Barcelona need the most, and the relationship between the club and player. All of that is going to be taken into account into who is most likely to arrive. So we are going to rank them from 1 through 5. 5 being the least likely and 1 being the most likely to arrive to FC Barcelona. And we are first going to start with number 5. I'm going to have to say Kevin De Bruyne. I still see it almost as impossible for him to come. He has a huge wage bill. We don't know if City is officially going to be banned, which is why he's going to be in my 5th spot. I also don't see any swap deals happening with Kevin De Bruyne because I don't see any players in FC Barcelona saying that they want to go to a club that's not going to play UCL football for the next 2 seasons. And then for number 4, I'm going to have to say Timo Werner. Timo Werner is a great player, but we have players that can provide the width, and Timo Werner has been reported to go to Liverpool many times by many reliable journalists. And so now going to number 3, I'm going to have to say Jadon Sancho. He has been linked to Manchester United, but I don't think that Sancho really wants to go to a club where he's not guaranteed UCL football every season. You might as well just stay at Borussia Dortmund. Now moving on to my last 2, and this is a very tricky one. It was very hard to say where Martinez is going to be and where Neymar Jr. is going to be, but I'm going to have to say that Neymar Jr. is my number 2. And the one thing that really separates me from Neymar Jr. and Lato Martinez is that Neymar Jr. is much more expensive compared to Lato Martinez, which is why he is in my 2nd spot. And then for my number 1 is Lato Martinez. He is the cheapest option. He is a player that we really need because he could be our number 9. And Inter Milan is considering to get some players from our squad, which could be Arturo Vidal, it could be Ivan Rakitic, it could be Coutinho, it could be Dembele, it could be multiple players. And that is why I put Lato Martinez as my number 1 to most likely come to FC Barcelona. So that is it for today's Barcelona video. I hope you guys do like this video. If you guys do, let me know. Give me video suggestions that you guys will want me to make. I do like making these videos. They're very fun. And so thank you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video.